Now on BBC One, Miss Great Britain 1984.
Live from the Palm Court of the Waldorf, the 39th Miss Great Britain contest. Arguably, a very handy word that, arguably the oldest beauty contest in the world. Not the contest to find the oldest beauty, you understand, but the one that dates back the furthest. We were here last year, you may remember, and we liked it so much we thought we'd settle in again. But we're flying up to stately Leighton Hall in the northwest once more later on, because as anybody who's ever spent a holiday in the Morecambe area will know, that's the home of the competition. But we'll start right here by meeting the contestants in evening clothes. They're led on by Maxine Elizabeth Turner from Stoke-on-Trent.
Maxine won the Miss Heart of England competition, and she would very much like to take her 6-year-old brother to Disney World and maybe swap him for Mickey Mouse or something. That's Maxine Turner, number 1.
Contestant number 2 is Wendy Fizzackley from Barrow-in-Furness.
Lovely name, Wendy Fizzackley. And as Miss Lakeland, she won a holiday in the Bahamas, which I believe can be almost as nice as Morecambe at this time of the year.
Blackpool is the home of contestant number 3. She's Debbie Turner.
Debbie works as a singing telegram girl, sometimes dresses as a French maid or a nurse or a duck or a clown or a gorilla. I don't know quite what she's come as tonight.
Also from the northwest, from Liverpool, Debbie Greenwood, contestant number 4.
Debbie goes to Keep Fit classes every single week, and then she spends the next 7 days, she says, in Purgatory, which is one of the suburbs of Liverpool, of course.
The turn of the southwest with contestant number 5, Julie Corlett from Newquay.
At the moment, Julie is a receptionist, but she's soon to be a marketing sales support representative. One of those jobs that takes longer to say than to actually do.
Again from the shadow of the Liver building, Diana Brooks, who's contestant number 6.
Diana enjoys horses very much. She spends most of her weekends mucking out stables. May not be too glamorous, but it's certainly good for the garden.
Debbie Barnaby, number 7, is from Nottingham.
Debbie is very fond of Chinese cooking, and all her family and friends keep giving her woks. Keeps getting shocked with flocks of woks. And there we are, just for starters, our first 7 horsemen of the apocalypse. Contestants for Miss Great Britain, 1984.
From Northern Ireland, the home of last year's winner, contestant number 8, Amanda Henry.
Amanda makes many of her own clothes. In fact, she drives her grandmother's old treadle sewing machine. Does about 3 miles to the gallon, I believe, these days.
London's sole contender is Karen Cresswell, contestant number 9.
An old friend of these competitions, Karen, likes rummaging around junk shops for antique bits of Art Deco objects. Chris Kelly was quite a find, I gather.
Karen Bradley is contestant number 10. She's from Stanford-le-Hope.
Karen works as a word processor. in a sort of microchip shop.
Hull in the east of England is where Susan Cooper's from. She's contestant number 11.
Susan, also the reigning Miss Morecambe Bay. She likes video games, does Susan. Very keen on one called Centipede. Sounds a bit like a video nasty to me.
A Welsh challenge from contestant number 12, who's Christine Cox from Swansea.
Who in fact celebrated her 23rd birthday just a couple of days ago last Monday. Runner-up to Miss Wales 1983, Christine Cox.
Another of the Liverpool contingent, contestant number 13, Trisha Liedl.
Trisha, a qualified dancing teacher. She in fact once danced with those peripatetic goofers, the second generation, who were quite amazed.
Also from Raymore's birthplace is Jane Kennedy, number 14.
Jane was 19 just yesterday. Her ambition is to do some television work, which is an ambition quite a few of us share. And there we are, our 7 lovelies competing for Miss Great Britain 1984.
Sheffield provides us with contestant number 15, Jill Saxby.
Doesn't look as though she could, but Jill has been trained to drive an army tank. She's also trained in the arts of self-defense, which will probably come in very handy later on.
Kim Atherton comes from Lymington. She's contestant number 16.
Kim was telling me she once parachuted with the Red Devils, but the truth is that they, in fact, threw her out of the plane.
From much maligned Wigan, Geraldine Clarkson, contestant number 17.
Now, you probably know Geraldine's face because she has appeared on breakfast television. But then again, there are very few people who haven't.
A lot of hope in the northeast, riding on Pauline Burnett from Chesterley Street, contestant number 18.
Pauline is a sales promotions girl who's promoted all sorts of stuff, things like cosmetics and cheese and even disposable nappies. I'd like to have seen her modelling those.
A challenge from north of Hadrian's Wall from contestant number 19, Isabel McFeeters from Auchinleck.
Isabel was telling me, she said, I had a brief experience in a hot air balloon at Gleneagles, and there's not very many of us can say that.
Blackpool is the home of contestant number 20, Tracy Ann McMurtagh.
Tracy Ann, a professional dancer, danced on television in France and in Germany. In fact, she dances fluently in many European languages.
And the last of our contestants for the title Miss Great Britain 1984, contestant number 21, Janet Ann Smith from Chorley in Lancashire.
Another birthday girl, a birthday just a week ago, 21 years old. She's going to get married this year, and she's a romantic, bit of a soppy apath at heart. Jeanette Smith, number 21.
21 challengers for the title Miss Great Britain 1984. Let me now introduce you to the people who will have to decide which of the girls should get the glittering prizes. We've got 5 judges, all of whom have had a chance to talk to the contestants at some length before we came on the air. First, meet the present occupant of the Gillow family seat at Leighton Hall, just a little north of Morecambe, Richard Reynolds. Our second judge has a lifetime's experience of beauty and movement. After training at the Royal Ballet School, she danced with the Scottish Ballet, and for the last 2 years, she's been the ballet mistress for Wayne Sleep's dazzling stage show Dash, currently at the Dominion here in London. Welcome, Anne Allen. Staying with the practical side of beauty, our next judge is responsible for makeup design at the BBC, with big shows both comic and dramatic to her credit, including The Two Ronnies and Days of Hope. She's Jill Shardlow. Our fourth judge is a man who's greatly respected in every field of entertainment. He made the Leeds City of Varieties the most famous music hall in the world. Producer of the good old days for the last 30 years, that charismatic, cultured cavalier, Mr. Barney Colahan. And finally, our non-voting chairman, unless, of course, there's a tie, the chairman of the Berkeley Square Ball, a managing director of the Dutton Forshaw Motor Group, sponsors of tonight's event. He is Mr. Andrew Love. This is where we go cross-country from London and head back again to the lovely northwest coast. As I said earlier, that's where they invented the Miss Great Britain contest back in the 50s. And among tonight's finalists, there are a number of girls who emerged from last year's weekly heats in Morecambe. In the autumn, in the afterglow of that wonderful summer, we took all 21 of them to Leighton Hall on the other side of Morecambe Bay. Incidentally, it's well worth a visit, particularly in this British Heritage Year. And I'm going to have to read from my notes here. Difficulty. So I say, as in the autumn, we took all 21 of them back to Leighton Hall, and it's worth a visit, particularly in this Heritage Year, because we're cherishing this year our national monuments and historic ruins, which brings us to Ray Moore. Along with a few other elderly Scousers, he remembers the days of sail and is said to have taken voice lessons from the hooter on the Mersey Ferry. He it is who describes the parade at Leighton Hall.
Yes, and Chris's script is in fact written by Norman Tevitt. Well, here we are actually in the front garden of this magnificent maisonette. It's the Morecambe Town Hall, the home of the organisers of the Miss Great Britain competition. There must be a small army of them if they need a place like that. And here now, some of our girls parading in front of a sparse but very enthusiastic crowd at the Morecambe Leisure Park, a splendid monument to the heady delights of hedonism by the Lancashire coast there. You see how close it is to the coast just across the way. We can look across to the windswept waves of Morecambe Bay itself. And nestling snugly in the hills there is Leighton Hall, home of the Gillow family for some generations, the great furniture empire. And those two animals in the foreground, by the way, are not part of the competition tonight. But it really is a most beautiful setting and a marvellous picturesque backdrop as we look at some more pretty pictures right now. The runners and riders taking part in the Miss Great Britain competition 1984. There's our first contestant. That's Maxine Elizabeth Turner. She comes from Stoke-on-Trent, coming down the stairs to greet us outside Leighton Hall. She works as a telephonist and she's 19 years old. That's Maxine Elizabeth Turner, the first of our contestants for Miss Great Britain tonight. An interesting idea to wear a white tea cosy for the competition, which is precisely what Wendy Fazakerley has done. She's contestant number 2. She comes from up the coast in Barrow in Furness, hands on hips, quite ready for action, almost ready for anything. Wendy is 20 years old. Wendy Fazakerley, number 2. Steps now, we see a Rhapsody in Blue. This is contestant number 3 from Blackpool, little tiny fishing village just down the coast from Morecambe. Her name is Debbie Turner. About to be carried away by the look of it by half a hurricane then. Debbie is 21. She's a singing telegram girl. Contestant number 3. Just a recap for you. Maxine Turner, she was number 1. Number 2, Wendy Fazakerley from Barrow. And contestant number 3, that's Debbie Turner. Now we're going to go inside Leighton Hall now, and here, being propped up by a bunch of flowers, is Debbie Greenwood. Debbie, like a lot of the contestants tonight, comes from Liverpool, and this is inside the drawing room of Leighton Hall. Debbie is 24 years old. And all the way from Newquay in Cornwall comes Julie Corlett. She's contestant number 5, wearing leather trousers, I noticed, just in case. She's 27 years old. Julie Corlett, contestant number 5. And here's another member of the small battalion of troops who come up from Liverpool. It's Diana Brooks, a shimmering blonde. Diana, contestant number 6. And this is Debbie Barnaby. Her hometown is Nottingham. She's contestant number 7. Standing there smiling, airing her intelligence by the fireplace. Number 7, Debbie Barnaby. And in a bit of a brown study in the dining room is Amanda Henry. She's contestant number 8. 22 years old, making a beeline for the fire too. She's from Belfast. Here's a girl bedecked in echoes of the Laughing Cavalier. Contestant number 9, Karen Elaine Cresswell, no stranger to these competitions. Karen from London, she's 23 years old. Here we are at the fruit and veg counter at Leighton Hall now, where you'll notice the table is set for a little light lunch. You appear to be some hours too early. This is the dining room, in fact, of Leighton Hall, but maybe if you're watching closely, you'll probably guess that. And having heard the dinner gong, eagerly awaiting lunch, is Karen Bradley coming down the stairs to greet us now. She's contestant number 10. She comes from Stanford-le-Hope. Doesn't altogether trust those stairs. She's 21 years old. That's number 10. There's an interesting little titfer, and it's sitting on top of the head of Susan Cooper, who's contestant number 11. She's 23 years old, and she comes from Hull, a fashion and photographic model. Underneath the head of Rudolph the reindeer, Susan Cooper, number 11. And looking down at us from a great height is Christine Cox. Here she comes now. She's contestant number 12. Christine is 23 years old, and she's from Swansea. They all have this penchant for Rudolph, don't they? Number 12, Christine Cox. Now, this chap, unfortunately, couldn't be with us here tonight at the Waldorf. I am sorry about that. Here we are, all dressed up like a 9-penny dinner, nowhere very much to go. That's contestant number 13, Trisha Liedl. You won't believe this, but in fact she's from Liverpool. And here in a rather fetching bushwhacking fedora hat is Jane Kennedy, contestant number 14. She also comes from Liverpool. Very attractive country-going outfit, that, being worn by Jane Kennedy, contestant number 14. And here's Jane about to take a little bit of a pot shot at the producer of the program. In fact, one of her great hobbies in her spare time is clay pigeon shooting. It's Jane Kennedy, number 14. And we're about to go inside the studio now of Leighton Hall, and here are some of the pictures that Jill Saxby's just finished colouring in. Jill is number 15. She comes from Sheffield, and she is 24 years old. Smile as broad as Yorkshire. Jill Saxby, contestant number 15. Also amongst the art, we find Kim Atherton, 19 years old, contestant number 16. Oh my goodness, she's going to get undressed, I think. She comes from Lymington in Hampshire. A smiling blonde, Kim Atherton, number 16. Ah yes, this girl will be pretty unmistakable on a dark and foggy night. It's Geraldine Clarkson. She's contestant number 17, comes from Wigan, not a million miles away. She's 26 years old, Geraldine. There's 3 or 4 more to go now And here in the garden, we meet contestant number 18, Pauline Burnip. Oh, and there she is, taking a turn round the garden. She comes from Chesterless Street, and she's 20 years old. And also pottering about amongst the shrubbery, we find Isabel McFeeters. Here she is now. Contestant number 19, she's 20 years old and comes from Auchinleck in Scotland. A shot of some of the local Morecambe big game there. Dressed as a pert little waitress is Tracy Ann Murtagh. Up from Blackpool down the coast, contestant number 20, Tracy Ann, she's 21. Like a star of the old Wild West, bringing up the rear is Jeanette Smith. She's contestant number 21. She comes from Chorley in Lancashire, and Jeanette is 21 years old. Union Jack flapping flaxidly in the summer breeze above the castellated ramparts of Leighton Hall. Beneath it all, a statuesque pile, we see 21 of the country's most beautiful girls, one of whom later on tonight will become Miss Great Britain 1984.
From rural Lancashire, back live again to the Waldorf, all a sparkle tonight. Many thanks to Ray Moore, and goodbye to nearly half our contestants, because the judges have now eliminated 9 of them, leaving 12 semi-finalists. In the early days, the Miss Great Britain was known as a bathing beauty contest, shades of permanent waves and judges in white flannels and blazers, a very English mixture of wholesome and saucy. Well, the swimsuit bit comes next, although then, as now, the one thing the contestants never do in their swimsuits is swim. The first semi-finalist is number 4, Debbie Greenwood from Liverpool.
Debbie is a 24-year-old advertising executive. She stands 5 feet 6 inches tall. The measurements there you're watching are 34, 22, 34. A trim 8-stone figure. Debbie Greenwood, contestant number 4.
Our second semi-finalist is also from Liverpool. She's number 6, Diana Brooks.
I have this theory we're all from Liverpool. Diana is 5 feet 5 tall. Is blonde with blue-green eyes. She works as a model. And she measures 34, 22, 34. Diana Brooks.
Next, number 7, Debbie Barnaby from Nottingham.
Smiley face, sunflower yellow swimsuit. Debbie's measurements are 36, 24, 35. And it's all moving along nicely. She's 5 feet 7 tall. Smiles like a dream. Number 7, Debbie Barnaby.
Ulster is in with a chance again in the shape of number 8, Amanda Henry from Belfast.
Amanda swings on with a bounce. 5 feet 7 tall. And Amanda measures 35, 25, 36. Blue eyes, blonde hair. Contestant number 8.
London through to the semi-final with Karen Creswell, number 9.
That's a picture you know very well from these competitions. Karen, 35, 23, 35. All 5 feet 7 inches of her. She's 23 years old. Karen Creswell, number 9.
Susan Cooper, number 11, is through to the last 12.
She's a fashion and photographic model. Doesn't take a degree in logic to see why. She measures 34, 24, 34. 23 years old. Green eyes and blonde hair of Susan Cooper.
Yet another semi-finalist from Liverpool. It must be something in the water. Number 13, Trisha Lidl.
Now it's something we put in the water. Trisha is a professional dancer, and she's 5 feet 7 tall. Patricia measures 35, 23, 35. She's 26 years old. Brown hair, green eyes. Contestant number 13.
Jill Saxby, number 15, from Sheffield.
Jill is 5 feet 8 inches tall. With blue-grey eyes, she's a brunette. Measures 34, 24, 34. Jill Saxby.
4 more places in the semi-final, the first of them filled by number 17, Geraldine Clarkson.
And I think filled is probably the operative word. Geraldine, 36, 24, 36. 5 feet 8.5 inches tall. Dark brown hair, lovely deep brown eyes. Number 17, Geraldine Clarkson.
The Northeast is safely in the lineup with number 18, Pauline Burnip from Chesterley Street.
Tall, statuesque, beautiful girl, Pauline. She's 20 years old. Measures 36, 24, 36. Number 18.
The penultimate semi-finalist, number 20, Tracy Ann Murter from Blackpool.
Tracy Ann, you remember, is the professional dancer. Moving down the stairs, oh, so elegantly. She measures 34, 23, 34. All 5 feet 8 inches of it. 21 years old. A coy look from those green eyes. Tracy Ann Murton.
And the last semi-finalist is also from Lancashire, from Chorley, in fact. She's number 21, Janet Ann Smith.
Janet's 21 years old. Resplendent in a shimmering costume. Most of it covering her. She measures 38, 24, 36, and she's 5 feet 8 inches tall. Jeanette Smith, the last of our semi-finalists.
What the judges have to do now is make a 50% cutback and leave us with just 6 finalists. And while they have a ponder, so does our producer. When it's a bit too parky to send your dancers out to certain death by pneumonia in Covent Garden, where do you put them? Well, why not the Palm Court? Oh, but there's the audience, the contestants, the judges, the cameras. To say nothing of me and Ray Moore, they had to put us on a diet to squeeze us in. So what did our producer do? Answer, he cheated. For clues, watch the clock. choreography by Irving Davis, and the arrangement of a rondo by Purcell was by Laurie Holloway. Now then, before we find out who's in the final lineup, I'd like you to meet my colleague who had ambitions to be a brain surgeon, meet the Pope and play for Sheffield Wednesday, but opted instead for Midlands Today. She's Kay Alexander. Kay will now interview the final 6 on our behalf, starting with number 4, Debbie Greenwood, and number 6, Diana Brooks, both from Liverpool.
Diana, starting with you. Now, you've got a twin sister, haven't you?
That's correct, yes, Joy.
Are you identical twins?
Yes, I'm afraid there's 2 of us, yes.
You're very close.
Oh, definitely. Could say like 2 peas in a pod, really.
I know you're both married. Do your husbands ever get you mixed up?
Well, they've come close to having a good slap now and again, yes.
Yes, I could see it could cause difficulties at times. Now, I know you've been in for quite a few competitions, and when you go in for competitions, you win lots of prizes. But you've been quite lucky this year, haven't you?
Yes, I have been quite lucky this year. I've won 4 holidays this year. One of my titles was the pin-up for the Royal Marines worldwide, and they promised to take me to Cyprus and Norway and over to Northern Ireland. So, really looking forward to that. It should be fun.
I should think it will be. Also, you're a part-time model.
Yes, that's right.
Now, what have you done for modelling?
Well, I've done quite a few things, really. One in particular that does stick in my mind is for long johns, would you believe? I had to model long johns out in the street, and I had to pretend to pick up some milk from a doorstep. So there I am, picking up the milk, and the lady come out and accused me of stealing her milk. So she was just about to call the police when I finally persuaded her that I was actually modelling, and the cameraman did come to my rescue eventually after walking off and leaving me there, so it turned out okay in the end.
Well, that was decent of you, wasn't it? Thank you, Diana. Now on to Debbie. Now, when you were doing your degree in modern languages, you spent a year abroad, didn't you, and visited several universities. Where did you go to?
Yes, I did. I'm not actually as daft as I look. For my sins, I've been at university in Toulouse. I spent one summer in Nice at university there. And then the following year, I did quite a lot of time at Hanover University and a short time at East Berlin University, behind the Iron Curtain.
Was it very different there?
Yes, it was very different. You didn't get all the sort of variety of things that you get in shops here. And people obviously view the world very, very differently.
But how about the students themselves? Were they different? Attitude different?
Well, young people, I think, around the world tend to be pretty similar. You have a lot in common. But I don't know, in some ways they're very different. Obviously, they're locked in a country and we were allowed to go and visit them.
And what did you like best about your travels abroad?
Well, basically the wine, and the main thing I learned was that I like German wine a lot better than French wine.
And I gather that's carried on into your hobbies now, hasn't it?
Yes, well, wine being the price it is in England, I had to resort to making my own. The only problem was the first batch we put on, sort of big demi-john, never actually made the bottling stage because we were always taking a little tipple now and then to see how it was going on, and to put it in the cooking.
Well, I don't know. Self-control is the answer, obviously. Diana and Debbie, thank you very much indeed.
Here in the Aldwych, just round the corner from Covent Garden, there was a time before it was redeveloped when it wasn't safe to go out by day or night. The place swarmed with cutthroats and footpads and tax inspectors and the like. Even royalty wasn't immune from daylight robbery. Fortunately, they've sorted the area out a bit since then. We've just had a check, and Miss Great Britain's crown is still safe. 2 more contestants in line for it are number 8, Amanda Henry from Belfast, and number 9, Karen Creswell from London.
Amanda, you're a beauty consultant now, but what did you do straight after you left school?
Well, whenever I was at school, I didn't take any of the usual subjects like office work or typing. And whenever I left school, I applied and joined the cadets in the police.
You didn't? Was it? Well, that must have been a very tough life in Belfast.
Yes, it was very tough training as well. We used to do road runs, and I'll tell you, whenever I came back, my knees were like jelly.
Why do you like being a beauty consultant?
Well, I love meeting people and talking to them, and actually my customers are all now really friends. I've got to know them all so well.
Is there anything that you're burning to do, though, when you finish being a beauty consultant?
Well, actually, at the minute, I'd like to pass my driving test because I've failed twice, and I'd really like to get my test. It's very important.
You haven't had any dust-ups in the car, have you?
No, not so far.
And what about flying? I think you'd like to go somewhere in Concorde, is that right?
Yes, I'd like to fly in Concorde, probably because I can't afford it myself, and I'd like to have the opportunity to go in Concorde.
An expensive dream.
Yes.
Amanda, thank you very much.
Thank
now,
you.
Karen, you're a model, but you're very keen on antique collecting, that's right.
Yes.
Is there a particular period you like collecting from more than others?
Well, at the moment, I'm collecting 1920s era. I collected a lot of Victoriana for my lounge and dining room, but now I'm doing my bedroom, so I'd like to collect 1920s.
What sort of things are you looking for? What do you like?
Well, I started by looking at jewellery, really. That's what interested me in it. And then it got further, and I went into sort of furniture and lamps and all that sort of thing.
Sounds very nice. Now, you're no stranger to competitions. Have any disastrous things happened to you when you've been entering a competition?
Not when I've been entering competitions, I can't think of anything. When I'm modelling, a few things have happened to me. One of the worst experiences was I was modelling a swimwear section at one time, and I had a nice toweling bikini on and a nice top. And the top I couldn't take over my head, I had to sort of wriggle it down. And as I wriggled it down, the bikini bottoms came down with it. So it was quite an experience, but luckily it was a Women's Guild fashion show, so...
Yes, I should think it was quite an experience for them too. What are you hoping to do in the future?
Well, I would like to own a small antique shop. Not a very expensive one that people can sort of rummage around and just find the sort of thing that, well, I look for now.
Amanda and Karen, thank you very much indeed.
And that leaves just two more coveted places in the final. Let me remind you that this isn't just the culmination of an hour's live television, it's the climax of a year's work for the organisers and an awful lot of hope on the part of the contestants. Neither is this the only interview they've had in the process. They've been grilled by the judges over a couple of days. And so to the last two girls in with a chance of becoming thousands of pounds richer and winning the title Miss Great Britain 1984. They're number 15, Jill Saxby from Sheffield, and from the other side of the Pennines, number 21, Janet Ann Smith from Chorley.
Now, Jill, you've won other beauty competitions. Did anything exciting happen to you as a result of those?
Yes, one of the beauty contests that I won, part of the prize was a trip to Germany to visit the British troops there.
Now, that must have been quite a challenging experience.
It was actually in many ways, and one of the things was to teach me how to ski, which didn't come off very well, and I still haven't learned how to ski properly either.
I bet they were fighting to instruct you, weren't they?
Well, I did have one or two instructors that tried to teach me, but it just didn't work.
What else did you do while you were there?
I had a go at driving a tank, and also learnt how to rifle shoot as well, which is very exciting.
Good gracious me, did these exciting things carry on when you arrived back in England?
Oh yes, when I got home, I had something else waiting for me, and that was a trip down a coal mine. I think they were trying to get rid of me.
How did you feel when you were down a coal mine?
It's a little bit claustrophobic and frightening. We went 2,000 feet underground and onto the coal face.
Well, not content with going down coal mines in the army, you also took part in a rather interesting television series. Tell us about that.
Yes, that's right. That was a series on self-defense for women. And we were taught the arts of the samurai warrior, which is self-defense, how to fight off an attacker.
Sounds like you needed that before you went to Germany. So, I'm going to turn now to Jeanette. Now, you have a consultant, you're a consultant of figure and fitness salon. Do you actually run this salon?
I do in a way, yes. I'm sort of in a position as manageress. I take charge of all the ladies involved in the club. They come to me and ask some advice. I've got to sort of build over the confidence first of all, because some of them are quite shy. They tell me the problem, which part of the body they want to sort of get rid of. I sit down and design a programme for them, show them the exercises, and they just carry on from there. Once they start to get fit, they start putting on a bit more weight.
Well, what would you do if I came to visit you and I don't want any personal comments? Thank you.
Well, first of all, we sort of have to assess you in a way. You'd have to stand in front of me and I'd have to look at you and say, well, that's got to come off, that's got to come off. It depends on you, really. If you sort of wanted to build your bust, which is quite popular with the women, then you've got to sort of use heavy weights. If you want to sort of get rid of weight on your bottom and on your thighs, then you've got to use light weights.
Yes, well, I just hope I'm never in Chorley, thank you.
Okay.
Now, you're getting married in July, and I gather your new house is taking up quite a lot of your time.
Yes, unfortunately. It's coming along very well, actually, at the moment. We've had it about 5 months now. Really, we've just been doing sort of the entire house. We've painted more or less everything. The sanding down and the rubbing down was the boring bits, really. I didn't really enjoy that.
Well, I wish you the best of luck with it anyway.
Thank you very much.
Jill, Janet, thank you very much indeed.
Many thanks to the girls and to Kay Alexander. So what's to be won tonight? Well, along with the title Miss Great Britain 1984, the winner will be presented with a cheque for £4,000, and she'll have the use of an Austin Maestro, courtesy of the sponsors, Dutton Forshaw Motor Group, during her year of office. She'll also get a free holiday and some jewellery. In just a few minutes, we'll know which of the 6 has beaten the challengers to the Grand Slam. Meanwhile, meet a musician who was born in Mexico, brought up in San Francisco, and now lives in London. Since this has been essentially a woman's hour, live here at the Waldorf, she's decided to play the theme from that enduring radio programme, Woman's Hour. Accompanied by Laurie Holloway, whose version of the tune is heard every weekday, here's Elena Duran.
Ladies and gentlemen, Miss Elena Duran. And now please a warm welcome back to the Palm Court Lounge, all the contestants for Miss Great Britain 1984. now please welcome our 6 finalists. And here with the headline news a few minutes early, Chris Kelly.
Well, for one woman, now is the hour she's hoped for and will always remember. The judges have judged, but before I tell you whom they've chosen as this year's winner, please give a big welcome to Miss Great Britain 1983, Rose McGrory. And so now to Rose's successor, Miss Great Britain 1984. In third place, contestant number 6, Diana Brooks. The runner-up to Miss Great Britain 1984, contestant number 8, Amanda Henry. And Liverpool has done it. The winner, Miss Great Britain 1984, is contestant number 4, Debbie Greenwood.
Ladies and gentlemen, from the Scouse Riviera, Debbie Greenwood is Miss Great Britain 1984.
Well, that's how millions of television viewers witnessed Lisburn girl Rosemary Thompson reach the final 15 in the 1986 Miss World competition last Thursday. Good evening and welcome to this special edition of Lifestyle, which tonight concentrates on the beauty business in Northern Ireland. Many young girls are being tempted into this growth industry, perhaps all too innocently thinking only of the fame and the fortune a beauty title can bring. But as they say, nothing comes easy. For many young girls, the pathway to stardom is fraught with problems and dangers. There are those all too keen to exploit the innocence of a potential Miss World, even a potential Miss Northern Ireland. In the studio tonight we have an invited audience, most of whom have some connection with the beauty business, including journalists, representatives from model agencies, fashion and glamour photographers, and sponsors of beauty competitions. We also have those who find such contests disturbing, offensive and patronising. We'll be hearing what each has to say a little later, but first, let's meet some of the girls whom in recent years have carried off many a major title. There's Alison Smith, now Alison Campbell, Miss Northern Ireland 1982 and runner-up to Miss UK in the same year. Rose McGrory, Miss Northern Ireland 1978 and Miss Great Britain 1983. Geraldine McGrory, now Geraldine McDermott, Miss Ulster 1979, Miss Northern Ireland 1980, Miss Ireland 1981, and joined 8th in the Miss World competition of the same year. Amanda Thompson, Northern Ireland's representative in the Miss Great Britain competition of 1984. Caroline O'Doherty, now Caroline Solomon, Miss Northern Ireland 1983. Susie Tan, Miss Northern Ireland 1984, and runner-up in the Miss UK of the same year. We have Linda Brotherston, who is Miss Northern Ireland 1985. Then we have Karen Duncan.
Here's your host, Des Dawson!
Another week has fled by. A new panel, a new audience. I only hope you're as good as last week's audience. They were wonderful. Old, but wonderful. Now, before the show gropes along to the point where it usually festers, I have been given permission tonight to launch an appeal on behalf of a preservation society for the very well-known Hertfordshire lesser-tinted squirrel. For those of you who are not conservatively minded in conservation terms, I would like to explain very briefly that the M10 cuts across the ancient mating grounds of the lesser-tinted squirrel. But by instinct, these delightful little rodents are still drawn to the motorway to mate. They do it in a sitting position. And unfortunately, the concrete affects the male squirrel and gives them hemorrhoids. This puts the female off, and she tends to go and do aerobics. You may feel this is a somewhat silly appeal, but believe me, if, like myself, in a hide during the night, you've heard the anguished cry of the lesser-tinted squirrel with piles holding its nuts in the air, you'd realise just how very poignant this is. If you send any money whatsoever, I shall send you a receipt from Corfu in a villa we've got there. But enough of this messy taradiddle. It's on with the show, yes? And tonight we have yet another cabal of celebrities, all from the same show. Yes, and you know the show, Hello, Hello, it's called, which is another way of saying whatever happened to telecom shares. First of all, will you welcome Richard Gibson. The vivacious Carmen Silvera. Straight to the point, European in looks, Guy Siner. The object of my lust, Vicky Michelle. An old mate of mine, Gordon Kay. Not forgetting Francesca Gumshaw. And now, to meet our contestants. First of all, Maria, and you're very, very nice indeed.
Thank you.
Got a few of them today, didn't you? All right now.
Thank you.
We got that prop at the back. Maria Robinson, you live in Kempston, Bedfordshire. Right. Very posh, you know.
Oh, absolutely.
They only eat fish fingers there if they've been manicured. You're married with 2 cats. What about your husband? And your favourite song is Felines. Feline, nothing more than feline. Where do we get them from? Now, you work as a student health visitor.
No, I am a health visitor now.
I'm sorry?
I am a health visitor now.
Oh, I'm sorry, you were a student health visitor then?
Oh.
When did you apply for the show? When Wogan's father was doing it? And you think Blankety Blank is a delightfully silly programme?
Yes.
How dare you call it a programme? Well, I wish you all the very best.
Forgive me.
All right, love. Gary Sykes, from Bradford, which is sort of Leeds with a sneer. Oh, brings back memories for me. I courted a girl called Sykes in Bradford. She had everything men desire, muscles and a dueling scar. She was beautiful. She was only small when she hitched the knickers up, she blindfolded herself. But to me, she was the embodiment of everything I wanted. I loved every hair on her lip. Gary's engaged to Sarah, and you drive an ambulance.
Yeah.
And you once raced that heartthrob Tom Selleck on the beach in Honolulu.
That's right, yeah.
Did you really?
Yeah.
Did you have a drink after? Did you have a Magnum? It's not funny, but it's quick. All the very best to you. And just take your time. All right, my darling? Our local pet shop is very busy. Our local pet shop is very busy these days. To help out, they've taught a blank to answer the phone. See? Now remember, the clue is in the question. Our local pet shop, Richard, is very busy these days. To help out, they've taught a blank to answer the phone. First one to say giraffe is out. They're only handy for necking. Give it down, give it down, give it down. Can you press your little...
Oh, yes, sorry.
Thank you. If I can help you in any way at all, you can I help you at all? You show me how it works. Bracing on me back like a Venetian blind. Right, Maria. Our local pet shop is very busy these days. To help out, they've taught a blank to answer the phone.
Parrot.
A parrot. Very good. Richard? Parrot. Yes, you've scored, my love. Well done.
I told you we were mates, didn't I?
Carmen?
No.
A cat?
Well, it's a pet.
I mean, I asked the cat, could it speak? He said, meow. Guy? A parrot? Well done, my love. Okay, miss, what have you got for me?
Little parrots.
Gordon?
I had thought of a cockatoo, but then I put a
Francesca? Well done. 5 there. So now it's up to you, Gary. Plod Dawson, our local Bobby, is very unlucky. When the police station was robbed, they even stole his blank as well. Okay, just think about it. Clues in the question. Plod Dawson, our local Bobby, is very unlucky. When the police station was robbed, they even stole his blank as well. Slap him out there, slap him out there. Very good. Very good, Nick. All right, Francesca, can we help in any way?
Maybe.
Che pazzi? Smell the post-it?
No.
It's going to be here, perché scrivi i papelli si put that here. Right, lights on, please. Okay, Gary, just take your time, sunshine. Plod Dawson, our local Bobby, is very unlucky. When the police station was robbed, they even stole his blank as well.
uniform.
His uniform? Yeah. Straight to the point, kid, that's what I like. Richard, we have uniform.
I couldn't quite get it all in.
I heard about that. Well, there we go. Carmen, my love. Yes, we must think what comes into your mind. You must. Guy?
Part of a uniform?
Don't be silly. Now, what you got for me, Vicky?
A little...
A truncheon. Gordon? A truncheon with a funny... Francesca? Well, that's a really great pan we've got tonight. How the show's even on, I don't know. Well, you've got nothing there, but never mind. But it could have been worse. Could have missed the bus. Now, you can match with everybody, including the audience and the technical staff. So just, ready? Leslie the Snowman really loves cold weather. It's when it gets warm that his blanks drop off. No! No! Leslie the Snowman really loves cold weather. It's when it gets warm that his blanks drop off. Terrifying, isn't it? You would call your life for this. If my dad could see me now, he'd turn over in his quick line. He loved me, my dad. He used to take me out deer hunting. The only part I didn't like was putting the anthems on my cap. Leslie the Snowman really loves cold weather. Gary, it's when it gets warm that his blanks drop off.
Nose.
His nose. Do you pay your own fare, Dan? We have nose.
No, you don't.
What have we got then? Button. Good show there. I must go and see this show. Where is it? In the East End? Carmen?
It was plural, so I...
Clothes, yes, that's very good. Well, I'm sorry, Gary, you didn't last very long, but you've gone further than I thought you would have done. So, will you come and join me, Maria, please, for Superman? We have to say goodbye to you, but you're leaving behind a host of memories. But time is a great healer. Sure, take it with you, a blackny black jabbercam pent and rabbit. Now, this is Supermatch. We held a poll with the studio audience to ascertain where they thought was the correct phrasal thing that's concealed behind this electronic masterpiece. Right? Now, rising in popularity, we have 50 blanks, 100 blanks, 150 blanks. And for the benefit of anybody who's still awake at home, we're not busy switching channels. These are some of the prizes.
Treat your home to a comprehensive professional spring clean. A succulent and tasty selection of French wines and cheeses. Intimate hi-fi sound from this personal compact displayer. Pamper yourself with a day in a beauty salon. Relax on this versatile sofa bed. And tonight's star prize is a springtime holiday for two in beautiful Paris.
Very nice. Very nice. That's Paris, Lincolnshire, by the way. Okay. Please reveal the legend. Cricket. Now, you only can use three of our celebrated panel to help you, Maria. Who would you like first? Vicky Michelle, we have cricket.
Match.
Cricket match. What a good one. Who else would you like?
Richard.
Richard Gibson, cricket.
Bat.
Cricket bat. Who else would you like?
Guy, please.
Guy.
Cricket ball.
Cricket ball. Three good ones. We can have one of your own if you like. You could have crease. Now, which of those? You've got Vicky with match, Guy with ball, and Richard with bat. As I say, if you want one of your own, you can do. What do you want then?
Try Vicky's match.
You're going to go for Vicky's match? Yes. Well, it's just something not on strike. Right, for 50 blanks we have ball, which of course was Guy. For 100 blanks we have match, Vicky. But for 150 blanks, of course, it was Oh. Well, never mind, you see, you've got the French wines and cheeses. They're not, so we tasted that stuff. It's a cross between muscatel and a hock, it's muck. Anyway, you've got that, we may see you in the head-to-head later, so all the best for now, Mary. God bless, love, bye-bye. Well, it's time to meet the next contestant. Margaret Rutherford. Amanda Thompson. You come from Belfast and you work as a beauty consultant in a large store.
Yes.
In 1984, Amanda won the Northern Ireland heat of Miss Great Britain. And if I can get you to my dressing room, there'll be a different kind of heat. You remind me of a film star, Bill Ives. You once worked as a police cadet, right? But you worked so hard you retired and you never got a rest. You keep fit on an exercise bike. You say here you can do 5 miles watching Blankety Blank.
That's right.
15 if you've had a curry.
Yeah.
Right. Jeff Lynn from Cardiff, married to Suzanne, and you have 2 youngsters, Julie and Christian, and you're a welder.
Yeah.
And that's a family that sticks together. Welding, by the way, is very good for women. My sister used to be a welder and she lost a lot of weight. She had acetylene hips. You play badminton and you once took a shower not knowing that the swimming pool was full of people watching you. Well, tell the audience what happened.
I'd finished a game of badminton and wanted a shower, and the only shower available was the one at the end of the changing room. So I went there and soaped myself and everything, turned round to wash all the soap off, and the whole of the swimming pool was looking.
Well, people laugh at little things like that. Ladies first, Amanda. Daley Thompson is really quick off the mark. When he wakes up in the morning, it only takes him 10 seconds to blank or blanks. Blank or blanks, right? Daley Thompson is really quick off the mark. When he wakes up in the morning, it only takes him 10 seconds to blank or blanks. It's a tricky one. I mean, this show isn't as easy as it looks, is it? Change. Rubbish, but it's intellectual. Just put down what you think is right. Okay? Light your lights when you do something on it. When you write something.
It won't work.
Well, try this one then, Vicky. Just take your time. Daley Thompson is really quick off the mark. When he wakes up in the morning, it only takes him 10 seconds to blank or blanks.
Eat breakfast.
Eat breakfast?
Yeah.
Are you egging me on? Eat breakfast. Richard?
Sorry.
Shave. Only takes him long to shave his breakfast. Carmen, my beloved.
Dress.
Dress. Never mind, you look lovely like that. I wonder what happened to Miss Faversham. Guy?
Alas.
Well, there you go. You must put where you think is right, even though it's wrong. Vicky? You forgive me. Gordon. Shave. Francesca. Fantastic, I love it. Yeah. Well, there you are. You see, that wasn't bad. No, we've had worse. They haven't turned up. Right, Jeff. Our vet is very short-sighted. When I took my Dalmatian to his surgery, he treated it for blank. Now, remember the clues in the question. Think of a Dalmatian. Our vet is very short-sighted. When I took my Dalmatian to his surgery, he treated it for blank. Oh, blank. It's quite obvious. It's self-explanatory if you haven't like it. Of course it is. All right? Lights on, please. Our vet is very short-sighted. When I took my Dalmatian to his surgery, he treated it for blank.
Spots.
Spots, of course it is. Richard, we have spots.
I'm doing too well, yeah.
Oh. You old misery. We're not giving the crown jewels away. Honestly. What a producer. You and Muffin the Mule are a pair for each other. Carmen?
German measles.
Well, never mind.
German measles.
Yes. It's very good. Don't pad your parts on. Guy? What have we got for me, Miss Vicky?
Oh, yes.
Spots, you see? There we go. Go on. Spots. Well done. Francesca.
Bruises.
How do you get bruises?
He cut himself. He's blind.
You mean what?
No pasa nada.
Nada, nice. Non muy loco. Bruises. Where are we getting these from? A warehouse? Now, that didn't go down too well, did it? Now, let's see who's in the lead. Now, Amanda, you can match with everybody. I'll swear my husband's playing snooker in his sleep, moaned the professional's wife. When he woke up this morning, he even had chalk on his blank or blank. I'll swear my husband's playing snooker in his sleep, bemoaned the professional's wife. When he woke up this morning, he even had chalk on his blank or blanks. Remember, snooker. It has to be said if you think what it is right, you must put it down. Lights on, please. Now take your time, man, and just think about this. I'll swear my husband's playing snooker in his sleep, moaned the professional's wife. When he woke up this morning, he even had chalk on his blank or blanks. Say what's in your heart, it's all right.
Toes.
Toes? Pockets. Carmen? Oh, come on. Guy? Right, what have you got for me, love? CU6 balls. Cue balls. Well, that's exactly right. Nose. That's me go. Well, that's it. Hard lines, Amanda. Still, never mind. Somebody has to lose, unfortunately. So, if you now come and join me, Jeff, for a nice contestant and a lovely girl from smashing all day. You're not going away empty-handed, you're going with our very good wishes, our felicitations, and you're also taking with you something that it can be prized. You're taking away with you a black checkbook and pen! See ya! People don't realise, Jeffrey, they don't realise what I'm going through at times. They don't realise. Well, it's super match again. Please reveal the legend. Honey Blank. Now, you can only have 3 of our celebrated panel to help you or assist you in this mammoth task. Who would you like first?
Guy.
You like Guy? Guy? Honey?
Bee.
Honey Bee. Yes, who else would you like?
Vicky.
Oh, yeah. Vicky Michelle? Honey?
Pot.
Honey Pot. Who else would you like?
Gordon.
Gordon, Kay, Honey?
Comb.
Honeycomb. 3 very good ones there. Now, if you wish, you could have one of your own.
I'll take Honey Bee.
You're going for Honey Bee, that soft Welsh accent. I'll tell you something about Wales. Every time I go there, they keep a welcome in the hillside. They won't let me in the digs. Oh, it is a beautiful accent, it is. Right. Well, there we have Guy's Bee, Vicky's Pot, and Gordon with Comb. Now, you're going for...
Honey Bee.
You're going for the Honey Bee, right. For 50 bucks we have... Subtle. For 100 bucks we have... Pot. Do you feel this? The emotion in the studio now. Even if they're walking out with cramp. Feel that excitement. But for 150 bucks it is, of course... Honey Bee! You've got that personal compact disc player, right? Which fits in an envelope, so you track it. Now then, you go through now to the... You could double this to a holiday in Paris because you've now won yourself through to the head-to-head. Now, you could double that price. So come over here now, Jeff. Right? Now, just take your time. All right? Now, you can only have one of our panellists to help you. Who would you like?
Guy again.
You're going for a Guy.
Guy again.
I thought you would. I thought. I'll stand here till I get a titter. So, you're in the hot seat, Guy. Now, if you match with what Guy writes when you speak it, then you've doubled it to a holiday in Paris. All you got to do is find your own way there. Okay? It's a super holiday because don't drink too much, otherwise there'll be a plaster of Paris. On the south of France. All good stuff, this, if you analyse it. Right. Are you ready, Guy?
I'm ready.
Okay. Garlic blank. Garlic blank. That's tricky, isn't it? I mean, this is a sort of repeat question. Garlic blank. Have you got it down, Guy? Now, this is for that holiday in Paris, okay? Wish you well. Garlic...
Sausage.
Garlic sausage. Garlic bread. Well, never mind. You're not going away empty-handed. You're going to take with you that personal compact disc player, and all you do is run around it with a needle. You're smashing. You've also got your black checkbook and pen. It's been a wonderful night tonight. I just feel really filled with everything. just can't thank the audience. Despite everything, cramped, live and great. I should say goodbye to a wonderful panel, to Richard, Carmen and Guy, to Vicky, Gordon and Francesca, and especially to you, our studio audience, and the ladies and gentlemen at home, and to our viewer in Cheltenham. God, look after yourself, Al. All the best.